Okay, time for some real talk. If you feel like you have less money, skills, or even time, then you are not alone. Having limited resources when it comes to pursuing your goals is a real challenge. So in this episode, we're going to look at how to pursue your goals when you have limited resources. Exactly what can you do when you have less money, skills, or time. Another episode of Up It and the Actionables podcast. If you're a regular here, then welcome. If you are new here, my name is Peyton and this channel brings you mindset coaching tips that can move you toward what you want to achieve in life. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. We bring you content every week. And now let's get into this episode. If there's anything that you want to achieve in life, whether it is to get promoted at work, to get healthy, or even to feel more fulfilled in life, you're going to need some sort of resource to help you reach that goal. Now, in terms of specific skills, obviously that resource is going to vary. However, the two standard resources that you're going to need in order to pursue your goals are money and time. So let's start with the money resource. I'm sure you've heard of people who had absolutely nothing to their name and they were able to push through that limitation of not having enough money and still be able to achieve their goals. Lack of money did not hold them back. So I'm thinking, why it should hold you back? Now I know that does not solve your problem. So what can you do instead? Stay tuned to find out. Obviously, you're going to need money when it comes to pursuing your goals. However, what if you learn to use money as a tool? For example, yes, you're going to need money to start a business, but lack of money cannot or should not prevent you from working on that business plan or even creating your own website. Money can help you pay for services that are going to help you achieve your goals. Instead of saying that you don't have enough money, how about you make the mindset shift to what can you do when you don't have enough money? So for example, if you want to learn certain skills and if you don't have the money readily available to learn those, invest in a course and to pick up those skills, can you perhaps be resourceful and look for freely available information that is online? Certainly not having enough money should not hold you back from pursuing and achieving those skills if you really want to. And here's the brutal, honest truth about not having enough money is that it is a comfortable excuse because then it gets you off the hook. And then if you keep telling yourself the story that you don't have enough money, that's going to hold you back from even doing the most basic necessary things in order to move toward your goals. And the next standard resource is time. Now, unlike the amount of money that each one of us has, every single one of us has 24 hours. And how we choose to utilize that time is completely 100% up to each and every one of us. Here's a suggestion I'd like to make. How about you think about your time resource as your life energy? Just like you would in the case of money, how about you be extremely mindful and careful about how you spend this life energy, which is your time. Would you think twice before spending money? How about you think about where and on what things you spend your time? So whether it is your time or your money, the trick is in fact to be more resourceful with both of them. So here are a few suggestions on how you can be more resourceful when your resources are limited. First is use what you currently have. Wherever you are in your journey currently and however little you have, you still have the choice to make the maximum use of it. So if you're listening to this on podcast or you're watching this on YouTube, then you already have access to a lot more than most people have. So it is up to you to look at your resources that you currently have and then see if you're best utilizing them to support yourself and your goals. Sometimes we tend to think that we have a lot less than we actually do. Second is, what can you do instead? So if you can get yourself to adopt this mindset of, okay, I have less and limited resources, so what? what can I do instead? How can I be more resourceful? How can I overcome this limitation? Then you're going to find yourself in the problem solving mode, which is much better than fixating on the perceived challenges of having limited resources. Once you get into this problem solving mode of, you're going to be able to think of solutions that you would have otherwise not even considered. Because when we fixate so much on our problems, we don't even consider how we can solve them through our skills and our abilities. So my suggestion is to get in the problem fixing mode instead of problem fixating mode. And the final third thing is power of the moment. Every single time, when you are confronted with having limited resources and you think about giving up, can you become conscious of that moment? Because there is immense power in that moment when you feel like giving up. In that vulnerable moment, when you think about giving up because of lack of resources, if you can find reason to push through, what you're essentially doing is building up your strength for the next time you feel like giving up. And by the way, this is a continuous process. So every time you feel like you have less limited resources and you can think about just one thing that you can do despite that limitation, it is going to eventually move you toward what you're trying to achieve. Find reasons to push through in the face of having limited resources. So to wrap up this episode, I really hope that you're going to consider your need to achieve your goals and your belief that you have limited resources. Because here's the thing, when it comes to achieving goals, the two cannot coexist. That means you have to give up one of them. Either your belief that you have limited resources and work around them, or your goal itself. I hope that you chose your goal, because dropping the belief around having limited resources of course takes practice, but it is a very doable thing. It's all about changing your story about not having enough resources and being resourceful instead. So if this episode resonated with you, then you know what you need to do. Leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want further personalized help to reach your goals, then don't forget to hit subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done that, or don't forget to subscribe to our email list, which is called One Thing to Help You, which is a personalized weekly email that I send out with a whole lot of love and coaching tips. Till next week, I hope you'll remember that your goals matter and it is really up to you to make it happen. Stay happy and stay healthy. I will see you in the next one. See ya.